What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your guy. Something. Hit the keys. Here today to do a tier ranking of all the DAWs. So I wanted to do something a little bit interesting, and obviously we all have our favorites. So it's kind of hard to do a tier list with something like DAWs without, you know what I'm saying, letting your personal opinion sway what you're gonna do. So in today's video, we're gonna ask Google Gemini and we're gonna let them give us the definitive answer. So as you guys see over here, I've got 20 of the major DAWs here. So I've got Ableton, Acid Pro, Audacity, Bitwig, Cakewalk, Cubase, Digital Performer, Fender Pro, FL Studio, GarageBand, Mixbus. I've got Logic, Luna, MPC Beats. We've got Pro Tools, Reaper, Reason, Serato, SoundBridge, and Tracktion. So that's what we're gonna kind of go with for the DAWs today. In order to make sure that Google is on their stuff today, I said, I need you to do a tier ranking on DAWs. It's S tier through D tier with ST being the best. I need honest, definitive answers, no cookie cutter BS, only the truth. My feelings aren't important in this exercise. I have 20 DAWs altogether to rate, so don't be soft. I'm going to ask you one DAW at a time. So bam, it's like hit me with the DAWs. So we're just gonna start right here in order. The first one we got is Ableton. So let's see where it ranks. Ableton. All right, so it says Ableton is going to get an S tier. It says the reason why is the session view is unmatched. The stock devices are elite. Ableton stock instruments and effects like operator, wavetable, echo, and drum bus are so good, clean, and CPU efficient that you generally don't need any third-party plugins. Audio manipulation king. The warping engine is gold standard and max for live. It just says that the real flaws are the arrangement view is rigid, the price tag is incredibly expensive, $749 for the suite, and you have to update that bitch every time they get a new version. And the stock GUI is polarizing. It looks like a spreadsheet or a piece of military radar equipment from 1998. I mean, I've been saying that forever. That's what Ableton looks like. But Ableton, you are officially S tier. So we'll go ahead and throw them up here. Starting off right with an S tier, let's go to Acid Pro 11. So Acid Pro 11 is going to get D tier, gets a brutal, uncompromised D tier. There is zero room for nostalgia here. While it historically pioneered loop-based production and time stretching back in the 90s, its modern iteration is a ghost of its former self. It basically says it has an abandonment and an identity crisis. The software has been passed around like a hot potato from Sonic Foundry to Sony, then Magix, and recently acquired by Boris Effects in early 2026. Unstable and bloated. It slapped a 64-bit engine skin on old code. So that's rough. And then outdated MIDI and workflow. So the only saving grace is the original loop engine. But with that being said, Acid Pro, you are going to go to the D tier. So we have an S and a D tier right off the jump. So up next we have Audacity. Audacity, where do you land at? So Audacity is going to get a C tier. Basically, obviously, we know there's no MIDI workflow. Historically, Audacity has a destructive editor. If you EQ the track and save, you permanently bake that change into the file. While Muse Group has finally pushed Audacity into the modern era with non-destructive clip stretching and stackable real-time effects, multi-track mixing workflow still feels rigid. Clunky mixer architecture. It says the real redeeming value is the ultimate audio utility Swiss Army knife. If you need to quickly chop a sample, you can do it there. Elite noise reduction and AI tools for a free program. It does sound good. I have recorded some tracks in Audacity, so it does sound good for a free program. But Audacity, you, my friend, are going into the C tier. So then up next, we have Bitwig 6. So let's go Bitwig Studio 6. All right, so Bitwig is landing in the S tier as well. It's the most stable DAW on earth, they say. Bitwig's plugin sandboxing is a masterclass in software engineering. If a buggy third-party VST crashes, it crashes by itself. The DAW keeps running, your audio never stops, and you just hit a button to reload the single plugin. That is pretty fire. Just they got a lot of stuff. The grid is a modular playground, version 6 automation and clip aliases and unified modulation system. The real flaws, the upgrade plan forces an annual subscription, but $199 a year, but that's no different than, you know what I'm saying, if you're gonna get Ableton, it's $29 for the full version every other year. Terrible for traditional recording. If you're trying to record a live drum kit, comp 40 vocal takes, and mix a massive film score with 300 tracks, it's just not gonna work. And then it's got a smaller community ecosystem. But they still gave Bitwig an S tier. All right, up next we've got Cakewalk. So let's see what they say about Cakewalk. All right, so for Cakewalk Sonar, they're giving this a B tier. They say the Pro channel is still masterclass, elite tracking and editing, and modernized engine and tech. But the real flaws are the identity crisis and pop-up fatigue. BandLab is aggressively trying to bridge the gap. Obviously, it's gone back to Sonar, but I could see that being an issue. Clunky, dated MIDI workflow, that is definitely an issue with Cakewalk. And then the learning curve, I agree with that too, because when you look at Cakewalk, it's super intense to look at. I used to use Sonar Cakewalk back in like 2009, 2010, 2011. It is a DAW that takes a lot of work, but this is going into the B tier. All right, up next we've got Cubase. So let's see where Cubase falls at in this rating. All right, so Cubase is going to get an A tier. It says it misses, you know what I'm saying, the top slot because of historical baggage and steep, archaic learning curve. I can understand that. Why it's A tier, the absolute king of MIDI editing. Cubase key editor and logical editor are light years ahead of the competition. The logical editor is a cheat code. It lets you write macro scripts for your workflow. Heavyweight composition tools, obviously this is good for scoring movies and all that other stuff. And then the modern evolution, you know what I'm saying? They have been working. So the real flaws with this though are the menu hell interface. Cubase is dense and it's an enterprise grade spreadsheet disguised as music. It is. It's almost like Ableton when you're talking about that. I used to use Cubase 5 for that's what I recorded into probably for like 6 or 7 years. And similar, it does have a spreadsheet look to it. The cost to entry is $580 for the Pro version. The verdict is if you're scoring movies and stuff, this is the way to go. So let's go ahead and drop this right over into the A tier. Up next, we've got Digital Performer. So let's see what Digital Performer ranks. I've never used Digital Performer. I just know when I Googled to see what I should use, this was one of the ones that they recommended. So Digital Performer is going to be a C tier. The chunks feature is a niche cheat code, elite film scoring and video sync. The GUI clutter is overwhelming. And then it's irrelevant to modern production, the raw truth. Zero creative flow for beat making, and the community isn't an island. The cost is $4.99. So this is gonna go ahead and just hop right up into the C tier. Fender Studio Pro. Let's see what they say about Fender Studio Pro. So Fender Studio is going to get an A tier. They say it's the absolute king of drag and drop, built-in mastering and live performance pages. Also helps modern tool integration and onboard Fender tones. That is definitely a clutch one right there, those Fender tones. The real flaws are the rebrand bloat and identity shift. Fender is aggressively pushing this toward the creator and guitar player market. MIDI editing is good, but it's not elite. And the perpetual license tensions, while they still offered perpetual licenses, they pushed the Pro annual subscription. So basically where we're at with Fender Studio is that it's going to land up into the A tier. So up next, we've got my baby, FL Studio. Let's see what they got to say about FL Studio. FL Studio. This some bullshit, dog. This some old bullshit. We all know FL Studio's S tier. I don't care what Gemini say. Gemini tripping. Gemini high on some computer crack right now. FL Studio, though, it says A tier. The best piano roll in existence. Duh, we all already know that. Lifetime free updates. You know what I'm saying? Ultimate sampling sandbox with SliceX and Edison. And then modern integration. The reason why it misses the S tier is because the unlinked nightmare and almost every other DAW or track in your timeline is linked to a specific channel in your mixer. In FL Studio, the playlist and channel rack and the mixer are 3 entirely separate entities. All you gotta do is push Command L as soon as you get something up though, bro. I mean, Command L, that's all you gotta do, Command L. I think if that's what you're knocking it for the unlinked, and every time that you just pop something up, all you gotta do is push Command L, or you can just route it to whatever you want it to go in the mixer. I know I'm not defending everybody else because I ain't using everybody else's DAWs. But I think if that's something that you're gonna knock FL Studio for, I think that's kind of stupid because just Command L. Terrible for traditional audio tracking, I'll give you that. It isn't the greatest, but it's not really that hard. It's not that hard because all you have to do is just set up each channel that you're going to. Like, you know, you would set up, I don't know, I get that though. And the stock mixer visual below. But A tier is where FL Studio is. Y'all see I'm in here fighting for my life for FL Studio. It doesn't matter, Gemini can't hear me. Bam, A tier. Top of the A tier. All right, so now we got GarageBand. So let's see what they're gonna rate GarageBand. All right, GarageBand is going to get a C tier. Obviously, there's no real mixing console, aggressively stripped down feature set from Logic and the Apple tax. If you don't have an iPad, iPhone, or Mac, this DAW doesn't exist for you. So the reason why it has it's not D tier is unbeatable entry price because it's free. You get the Logic engine, the drummer features, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's not bad. We'll go ahead and drop you right on over into the C tier. All right, up next, we've got Harrison Mixbus. All right, so Harrison Mixbus gets a B tier. They say if they were ranking it strictly off of the mixing phase of the project, it would get an S tier. Guess what, sucker? It's rating more than just the mixing. Why is it B tier? The cold facts. The sound of the mixer console is real. Mixbus does something no other DAW does. It bakes proprietary analog console model DSP directly into every single channel strip. I might check this out. The absolute cleanest visual signal flow, rapid modern upgrades. And so the real flaws, or it's built on an awkward foundation under the hood. It's built on Ardor, an open source DAW framework, frustrating MIDI and beat making, and it's a CPU hog. So we're gonna go ahead and drop Mixbus right on up into the B tier. That brings us up to Logic Pro. Logic Pro, another DAW I actually do use. I don't have a MacBook, I actually use Logic. Let's see where Logic is rated at. S tier, let's go Logic. I'm cool with that. I like Logic. Why is it S tier? The ultimate stock library. No DAW gives you this much world-class content out of the box between the legendary Alchemy synth, just all the sounds, the absolute best vocal comping. Logic's quick swipe comping remains the gold standard. This is why I use Logic, is because of recording vocals. I know a lot of people say, oh, stuff sounds different in the DAWs and blah, blah, or doesn't sound different in the DAWs. I can record in FL Studio and I can record in Logic, same exact tools. It's gonna sound better and cleaner in Logic every time. It just is what it is. But I like the way beats sound out of FL Studio more. So it just is what it is. Elite session players and pro audio and spatial powerhouse. The real flaws is the golden Apple cage. I mean, I don't know if that's really a flaw because it's only for Mac, but I get it if you want to use it and you're on PC. The environment window hangover and menu clutter hidden behind simplicity. So Logic, we're gonna go ahead and drop you off into the S tier. Let's go, baby. Let's get it. All right, up next, we've got Luna. Luna is in the B tier. The built-in analog glue is elite. Aggressive modern upgrades, and it's finally free and cross-platform. That is positive, because it was only Mac first, and you had to have an Apollo to use it, which was wild. The real flaws, the internet connection chokehold. Oh, you gotta be connected to the internet to use the cloud system though? Terrible virtual instrument workflow. I think they do have a fire piano though. I think the piano is nice. The piano plugin they give you, bizarre internal file management. But Luna, we're gonna go ahead and drop you over here into the B tier. We'll make you top of the B tier. We're gonna make Logic top of the A tier. Just because I'm a hater, Ableton will be third. All right, MPC Beats. It's probably gonna be like a C tier, D tier. The D tier, yeah. The infuriating track caps. Yeah, only 8 track caps on this is BS. But I get it. They want you to get the full software for $199. So it is what it is. Clunkiest interface ever for a mouse in the plugin paywall. And then it's only saving graces. It works as a VST. That is dope because you can use it and other stuff. So let's do MPC Studio. We'll take the MPC Studio ranking. To be fair, now we'll take the MPC Beat because really the MPC Studio, you got to have MPC. B tier. We're going to put MPC Beats into the C tier. So we're going to combine MPC Beats and MPC Studio and put it into the C tier. All right, up next, we have Pro Tools. I'm interested to see what it's going to rank Pro Tools. My guess is it's going to rank Pro Tools A or B tier, A tier. I mean, obviously it's Pro Tools. It's the industry standard for tracking, editing, the mixing console. I mean, you know, obviously we know it's Pro Tools. The real flaws, yes, the AAX format is trash. Trash. Corporate greed and subscription model, trash. MIDI is good now, but the workflow is stiff. So, you know, I mean, I'm not, Pro Tools, we all know what Pro Tools is. Pro Tools is Pro Tools. We'll go ahead and drop Pro Tools right here before Cubase. All right, next we got Reaper. Reaper's probably gonna get an S tier. S tier, yeah, I figured, because you can do so much coding with Reaper. So Reaper, it's S tier, it's unrivaled code and performance efficiency, the absolute best routing architecture, infinite customization and scripting, elite modern upgrades, and the pro consumer pricing model. So it's only 60 bucks. I mean, Reaper, you know, the flaws are the blank canvas, paradox, out of the box. Reaper is ugly, it's ugly as hell, but you can fix it really quick. Setup exhaustion, it doesn't guide you to make Reaper feel as fast as FL Studio or Ableton, and the MIDI learning curve does take a while, but it's still S tier. I mean, I knew that already. It's Reaper. The value with the functionality makes it that. Reason, I think Reason is going to be a B tier. It could be A tier too, but it's going to be A or B. C tier? Damn. Why it's C tier, the rack. Its entire identity is that 3D gear rack. We all know about that. The sequencer is still stiff. Terrible for modern tracking and working, and no video support or MPE. Woo, we're gonna kind of fly through these last ones just because, you know what I'm saying? I wanna get through with this video now at this point. All right, so Reason is C tier. Now we got Serato. Serato will probably be B tier. Serato C tier too. The scene cage architecture under the hood, it splits your project into scenes. It doesn't like that. I don't think that's that bad. The mixing layout is stripped naked. The monthly subscription track, paying $9.99 a month, is BS, they say. It is the world's best native stem separation, and it's really easy to use and integrate with your equipment. So they're giving Serato the C treatment too. Now we're gonna be on to SoundBridge. SoundBridge is getting that D tier because it's got a 10 track, you know what I'm saying, limit on the free. The interface feels sterile and stripped. The Ghost Town ecosystem. The redeeming factors are its collaboration tools, the 64 slot sampler, and the track teleprompter. But you are going into C. A lot of stuff in C. And the last one we got is Waveform Traction. Waveform is probably gonna get a C or a D. B tier? Wow! The most unrestricted free version ever made. A massive engine and UI overhauls, elite creator generators, deep Aura2 and multi-channel surround. It's got a lot going for it, but we're gonna go ahead and finish this one at B. All right, guys, so this is what the tier list looks like at the end. If I was to make any changes to this tier list, the change I would make, but I'd get you here though. That would be my change if I was to make a change, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm completely biased. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I'm not acting like I'm not. This ain't no game, I ain't playing. I'm as biased as you can be. But that's what I got for you guys in today's video. We're gonna do some more of these two Gemini ads. So make sure if you guys do like this content though, you drop a whole elbow on that like button, hit subscribe and that notification bell so every time we bring you guys a new video, you can be the first to see. I appreciate you guys' time as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Some, hit the key.